Hello to everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the channel. This is going to be a brief recap of the list that I took to the Leeds UK Super Major at the weekend, and a rundown of the 5 games that I played. I will be doing some back reps of video capture and sort of TTS of each of the games that I played. So when I get a chance and to recreate those and create a video, do look out for them on the channel. If you do enjoy the content on the channel, whether it be the strike or sweep series that runs through, or any of the video back reps that I do end up putting up, please do like and subscribe. Um, Hopefully you enjoy the run through here, and yeah, I'm going to jump through the list first, and then we'll go a brief summary of the games and the opponents that I had, and then maybe a quick sort of summary on what I would potentially change and an overview of the event. So
But
to go
yeah,
back through the list that I took to Leeds, we are taking the Champions of Contagion detachment, and we've got a selection of characters here. We do have the biologist putrefier and the final ingredient enhancement. This came off a couple of times in the event. I still find even if you don't get it off early in the matches, it can really warp the sort of game so that you can have with the opponent. Obviously, at the start of the game, you explain if I kill a character with this plague marine unit containing the biologist putrefier, you can get a second plague up, and that can be really sort of damaging to any sort of melee armies in particular. And it can be something that they just don't want to have to deal with. So they will always place their characters maybe in a place where they normally wouldn't, or they could just YOLO and say, "Fine, do it, and we'll have to deal with it another way." But yeah, really happy with the Ballad Putrefy and the 10-man Plague Marines that they're going to join. They will join with the Magnificent Playcaster. Obviously, the lethal sustained crit fives is really strong, shooting and melee as well against a afflicted target. So that's sort of been a staple of the list. The reroll hits and wounds is fantastic to put on them if you get something super strong. Lord of Contagion. This guy is super powerful. He has so many abilities. Given the sustained hits and lance um, to the Death Shroud unit, but also getting back up on 2+. Really solid character. I know a lot of people are in multiple of him. I sort of as a toolbox list. I find as long as I put him in the location where I want him, he does the job that I need, and the rest of the list can deal with other things that I need to. We have the Lord of Poxers. I've really liked the Blood of Poxers in most of the sort of practice games I was having with this list leading up to Leeds. He's a very powerful unit with his extra plague ability from the Chronocophagus, and the +3 inches of his ability means you can sort of rapid ingress him, get use of that, and tag something that the opponent thought might have been safe, or just as an actual beat stick himself, his damage is very reliable here on twos. So putting him with the Famine Plague Marines and using crit fives, you can get a lot of damage out in there. Maybe kill something small like a rhino or whatever it is, and because you do that, and then maybe charge him with the Death Shroud, you can pop a transport and kill the contents of it quite regularly, which is good use from him. Lord of Violence, he is a bit of a flex pick in terms of whether he goes with the Death Shroud or whether Typhus does, who we can see at the bottom. I think most of the games at this event, I did elect to put Lord of Violence with the Death Shroud. The reroll wounds on the Flamers is obviously very good against infantry, and yeah, it's just a solid unit with the rerolls ones on the reroll blast with his pointing ability, so that's good. Tallyman was pretty good this event. I generally haven't been finding myself lacking in CP, um, especially in the 5 games. I thought that I had enough when I needed to. So yeah, definitely didn't miss the Demon Prince, which I originally had in the list for the free strat per battle round. I think the Tallyman was generating them enough to be happy. And even if I wasn't always scoring both cards, so I could discard the CP at that point. But Tallyman for 40 points and an actioner and the chance of getting CP, I think he goes in every list. He's just really quite good. Um, yeah, we've got the 10-man Plague Marines with the Putrefier and the Playcaster goes in. Um, We elected to go with melter guns. I was always a preference to the melter guns compared to the plasmas, but the fact that there was going to be a lot of knights there as well meant that the melter guns with a lethal sustained could pop off, and you could end up with a lot of damage just from them, especially with the reroll hits and wounds if you needed it, but also the mixed arms with the 3 heavy plague weapons and the champion having a power fist, the 2 spewers. You can be really versatile, especially when getting the models out of the Land Raider and placing the ones in the positions where you need, placing things to be really good at Overwatch for the next turn, because this unit with the spewers and the lethal sustained sixes on the rest of the guns and the plague casters hazardous flamer, that's just a lot of things that could end up wiping out, say, another Death Guard's drone that they were hoping to shoot and take a lot of the Plague Marines out of. And yeah, it's for 1 CP, that unit's got a really, really deadly Overwatch. The 5-man Plague Marines, they go with the Lord of Poxes. To say, quite a lot of times they were in strategic reserves. A couple of games, I think I did start them on the board. It's just an extra sort of pressure on to somewhere. But yeah, 2 heavy plague weapons, a bubotic, and a plasma, meaning I've got 5 plasma shots if I come on at strat reserve, because I'll be within 12. The Lord of Poxes has a plasma pistol, so 2 plasma guns, rapid fire, overcharging. You can get quite a decent amount of shots, damage just from them to maybe soften up a target as well. The Land Raider, obviously everyone knows I love my Land Raider. This was exactly as I sort of expected it. It still works in the UKTC terrain. It's maybe even a little easier now compared to the previous setup. But yeah, moving 10, disembarking 3, and still being able to charge is really powerful. On the Plague Marine unit, it usually lets you have an activation of shooting and an activation of charging into a target that you want to. So for me, Land Raider's a great option. I know a lot of people don't like it. As long as you are careful with it and you are able to deliver something that you want to and not get it tagged by something, then I feel like it's good. And one of the extra benefits of taking the Lord of Virulence is those las cannons. You get to reroll the ones, you get something you really want to. I think every time I did, I rolled 2. So don't expect the Land Raider to kill anything. Every now and again, it does pop off, and you do. But most of the time, its shooting is a bit underwhelming. But it's not what you're taking it for. It's for the 13-inch moving and charging Plague Marines or Death Shroud. Spawn, they are, again, some of the best units in the Codex at the moment. The way that the mortals go back on the opponent, it just means that they are stuck in combat a lot of times, slowly being whittled away. Do not expect your spawn to be able to kill anything. The amount of times I rolled high on the number of attacks and then missed most of the hits, and then because they're only strength 5, you fail to wound most of the wounds. You hand your opponent like 2-3 saves and they pass them, and then you're like, oh well, I'm probably going to kill you with the mortal wounds faster than I am with the actual attacks. But yeah, they were fantastic. Just being able to be an annoyance, being a move block, the scouting really helps. Moving to 8, very much a favourite of the list for me. The Death Shroud, 2 units of 3. I did remember that they had the Icon of Despair in at least one of the games, so the -2 leadership if I switched to the third plague or activated it with the final ingredient. So that was good. But yeah, Death Shroud, they are strong, 4 wounds, doing all the damage and getting beefed up by either Lord of Virulence or the Lord of Contagion, and then with the strats as well for quick 5s or the reroll hits and wounds, can do a lot of damage. The heavy blight launcher drones, I was reasonably happy with these. I know that they are the bane of a lot of things at the moment, and they are too cheap. But they can be quite swingy. Without the Lord of Virulence, I probably wouldn't take them in this list. But the fact that I could point at something and re-roll the hits for the blast, it is good. It still sucks when you roll 1, 2, 3 shots on the dice. So I still think they are so much better in the Villain Victorium. When you want to hit something hard, you can re-roll that number of shots and make full use of these. But they are solid and they do scare people a lot, so that's always good. And they are still reasonably fast moving and OC3. So yeah, they were definitely worthy of the position, and yeah, I could see them going up in points soon. Coming to round out the list, we have the 3 units of Potswalkers, which always deploy these aggressively with an infiltration. If I went first, I can tie people up. If I go second, yeah, I lose 60 points potentially. But if you can be quite smart with where you place them, so you don't give up a Roman force, or you get unlucky if they get no prisoners, if they can kill them all. But usually they have to bring something out to commit to them and kill them. And going first, you can put -1 to hit. So if they go first, you can use -1 to hit. So then they come out, maybe don't kill them, and then you can do whatever you need to do. And it generally works out quite well. I'm still happy with 3 times 10. So yeah. And then the last thing is we did make a last minute switch from a floated boat drone to with spitters to a mephitic blight hauler, and I think in general I was pretty happy that I did. A lot of times the melter was either um, pretty scary for the other person, so they didn't want to push as forward as they maybe did want to, or it just actually did quite a lot of damage. I think it ended up doing a lot of damage to a demon prince in the round 4 game I had. And yeah, it's just a really efficient unit. Hitting on 2s, reroll on 1s, because if you point again with the Lord of Violence, you can get that efficiency through. So yeah, that was the list. We'll move on to the rounds. So the way that I'm going to try and do this, I'm going to have a quick run through of the opponent and show you the what happened here, and then I'm hoping to do a round by round sort of bat rep, and maybe try and recreate the games in TTS if I can remember enough about them. I did take some videos of the events in certain rounds, but as you all probably aware, by the time you get around to playing the game, you completely absorb it in it. So I don't get to every round and every game. But yeah, we'll go through the games one by one just quickly here, and then look out for the back reps of the games coming out soon. So here we are with Chris. Chris gave me a heart attack at the start of day one because everyone went into the hall, said hello to people that I'd obviously know within the community, and went to my table, started setting up the map. It got to about quarter past 9, and I was like, okay, not here yet. Just go hang about, see what's going on. 20 past 9, still not there. 25 past 9, I walked over to Aiden because I know that the Chris plays at the Manchester Hive where Aiden played. He's like, "Have you heard from Chris?" He's like, "Yeah, he's on his way." And about 27 minutes past 9, he turned up. So we did manage to start time, which was excellent. But I thought it was going to be one of those days where you have prepared because you get your pairings early and you go, "Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing against Cao Young Tao," and then you get repaired into like I don't know, NIDS or whatever it is. But Chris ended up turning up, and I must say, he's an absolutely lovely guy. We had a quick chat about what the armies do. He opened his backpack, and the first thing he pulled out was some sweets, and offered me some sweets. So yeah, always a good start to the game. And we ended up deploying, and Chris went first, and I think I wasn't expecting him to be as aggressive as he was. I know he said at the end of the game that he'd been speaking on the Manchester Hive, and I've got representation. uh, I've got a reputation of being quite an aggressive player. So he thought the only way to match aggression is with some more aggression. So he came running at me, move blocking me quite well. Um, And as you can see here, we had a game on Terraform because it was round 1, and he terraformed I think 2 mid objectives, and really put me under pressure with the primary. Um, and I think in the end it ended up not being quite right. I think a couple of dice maybe goes one way or the other, but he ended up just not having the resources to see out the game. And you can see with the primary there from round 3 onwards, I was scoring enough to max it, and still being able to score quite a lot of points in the secondaries. So did end up with a 100-73 victory there. Again, Chris was an absolutely lovely player to play against. Had a great time. Was always talking through everything that we were going to be doing. Everything was played by intent, and moving through everything like that. So yeah, absolutely lovely round 1 to start the day. Go and get lunch, and then we get our pairings. And it was one of those where I go, "Oh, I know that person's name, but I can't quite place it." And then I rock up to the table, and it is Sam, and Sam is a part of the 6++ team, and I've been part of the 6++ Discord for quite a while. When I got back into the hobby, they were one of the first sort of podcasts I started listening to, and thought it was always, or they always put out really good content. So joined their Discord, and I've been a part of their King of the Ping series that they run for since they've been going, I believe. Made it through to the semi-finals of one of them. But yeah, so I played a couple of the 6++ guys as well. Connor was one of my first events down at LGT, and he was an absolute gent to play. And Sam was exactly the same. Turned up the table, he already had a beer, so I felt I can't leave him drinking alone. So I went and got a beer for us, and yeah, I think we had quite a lot of beer during that game. But it was a really fun game as well. Really well fought. Again, Sam, he's brought the Blood Angels here. Had lots of fast-moving infantry with the jetpacks, and a lot. I think there was 3 units of Sandguard, um, and there was also 2 repulsors, so that they could all jump out of there and be really quick to cause me a lot of problems if I sort of tried to be too aggressive. And yeah, the final score being 92-86. There was a lot of cut and dry moments. I think in the end, I managed to just take it away on the primary. You can see there, I got the max primary. He only got the 44, so really close there. And we scored the same in secondaries. So yeah, another amazing game. Really enjoyed it with Sam. Can't ask for 2 better games, to be honest, to start the event. Uh, And next up, we have the round 3 games. And round 3 is always sort of notorious for being you've had a long day, you've 3 games of Warhammer in one day, you want to play something nice and easy. You know what they do. And I end up getting paired into Will. And Will was bringing Towers. I thought, oh, cool. I'll have a look at the list. Hopefully, it's a carry on because I've got a lot of sort of practice in the first game and know what the army does. And then I see that it's the auxiliary cadre, and I have no idea what the auxiliary cadre do. I know it's all the sort of extra bits on top of the tower, as well as the all the Krutos rampages and the Vespids and everything like that. Um, I want to thank Will, first of all, because we spent a good amount of time pre-game just going, this is what the units can do. We'll go through it. There's going to be no gotchas. Um, they can. There will be a time where this specific stratagem pops up because I can move back and fall back in the fight phase with one of the units, and it will use it to score primary or deny secondary or something like that. I'll tell you about it now, and it will happen. And it happens in every game, just so you know that this can happen. And he did, and it did. But we had an absolutely amazing game. Um, really, really well played between us both. I think there was a lot of communication, and for a round 3 game, which usually can be a bit too much, and you get to that point of the day where things can just get a bit annoying. I think Will was an exemplar of how to play the game, and yeah, very very happy with how we managed to work through some of the things. There was a lot of sort of movement ongoing because of the amount of models that he had, and just sort of like discussing things before anything was even moved on the table. So that we both understood exactly what was going on, and if there was ever any disagreement, we'd quickly get a judge. They'd say, "Yep, this is fine," and then we'd both accept it and move along. So yeah, really happy with the game with Will. We managed to take the victory, so we did finish 3-0 on day 1, which was fantastic. You can see here on the primary. I'll go through this if I can, and the back rep, but I thought I wasn't going to score any primary at any point in the game. I think only because it was hidden supplies at the end, and I managed to kill enough of his resources that I was able to score the 35 primary that I did, and I was able to stay in the game because of the secondaries. So yeah, that was round 3. So went back. I was stopping at an Airbnb with the guys that I went to the event with, and I was like thinking, do I actually want to know my 4th round pairing? Maybe I'll just go try and sleep and get a fresh insight in the morning. And then we all got our pairings, whatever time it was. I think it was almost 10 o'clock. And two of the guys went, "Oh, I've got Death Guard. Oh, I've got Death Guard." And then one of them told me, "Oh, you've got Death Guard." So obviously knowing the army quite well, and it was the Virulent Victorum detachment that I'll be facing. Went into the day all fresh and ready, and rocked up to the table, and Lewis was there. He'd already started setting up the table for me, for us to play, and Lewis was an absolute gent to play. I thoroughly enjoyed our game. There was just constant laughter. Again, there was certain points where uh, the best thing was if we had a disagreement, we called the judge. Lewis was saying there was one point where I wanted to move my Land Raider, and he disagreed slightly how it could be done. So we just said, let's get a judge. We'll put the dice behind where it currently is, and then if the judge is happy with how I move it, and he was happy with how I move it, then that's fine, and that's exactly what we did. So just an example there of how you can work together with the person to quickly resolve a dispute. Uh, no one goes away sort of feeling hard done by, and yeah, and this was an absolutely incredible game. I was really impressed with the way the Lewis played it. I think I sort of went very aggressive to pin him back with the Poxwalkers and the Spawn, and you can see that in the primary there. And he fought out really well. But it came down to a couple of dice on charges. I think Lewis brought down, he had a 6-man Death Shroud unit with his Lord of Contagion, and he brought them down, and they failed a charge with a reroll on a 6-inch charge. And that kind of meant that they were just stuck out on the wind, and I could just slowly move away from him across the board and picked up the rest of his resources. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic game with Lewis. Love to play him again. And 4 truly just amazing games at GT, and very happy with them. And that was it. This is the first time I've gone 4-0 at a super major event. I've been in the finals of a GT before, but there's obviously a lot more people at these super majors. So going into into lunchtime on the Sunday, and knowing that there's obviously going to be anyone left in the round 4-0 bracket is going to be a really tough game. We get the pairings through, and I check, and we get Josh Roberts, the number 1 ranked ITC player in the world. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game, but we see how we can deal with this list. Meet Josh at the table, and he talks me through. I've obviously seen his list before. I was just checking if there's any changes to the previous event I think he'd taken it to. But it is the Stormlance list with the Storm Raven and the Ballistuses and everything like that with the double oath. So yeah, we spent a good 10 minutes just chatting about the lists. He wasn't fully up to date with all the things of the Champions of Contagion. Obviously, the Virulent Victorium and the Mortarian's Hammer build are a bit more popular at the moment. So, ran through what it is that the Champions of Contagion can do, and also just the little tweaks with the enhancements and the things in my list. And yeah, we start our game. I think Josh ends up going first, and we know that a lot of the power in his list is what the Storm Raven can drop off with all of its cargo. So we try and limit where that goes, and you can see I managed to do quite well. I think in take and hold, managed to keep him off scoring more than 1 primary for until right up to the end of the game. Pretty much by the end of the game, I only had the Land Raider and a drone left on the field. He still had most of his army. So we were sort of playing that game of attrition, and I just lost out in the end because of that. We managed to keep the secondaries. Sort of managed to keep up until the middle of the game, and then yeah, just not able to score anything at the end just because we didn't have anything left on the board, pretty much. So that was it. That was the end of our run at Leeds. Kept Josh to his lowest scoring game and the closest game of the event, which is probably an achievement in itself. And yeah, we had a very strong showing with Death Guard, which obviously are a strong army at the moment. There's probably is impending nerfs, but yeah, we put up on a good show. I think we had some really good games, and really managed to apply the way that I like to play the game um, in multiple different scenarios. Obviously, the Carry-On has good shooting. We had to make sure that we could eliminate most of the threats before they really got online. We had to weather the storm of the Blood Angels charging at us, and make sure that we don't just get completely annihilated there. The auxiliary cadre, again, Will played absolutely amazing and needed to basically try and just chew through a wall of whatever they are, and be able to get some primary at least on the scoreboard. And then the Death Guard mirror, which was just probably my favorite game of the weekend. Just so much fun. Lewis again was there with his partner, and we were just all having a great time. And then yeah, testing my metal against the best player in the world at the moment, and not coming off too shabby. And that left us in 23rd position. You can see here the matches. We got 424 battle points over the 5 rounds, uh, scoring consistently, sort of around the 90-point mark. And then obviously the last one was quite a brutal game to get the points on the secondaries and the primaries. So we did drop quite a few towards the end. But if we look here, I think we were the 5th Death Guard list there. I know I was speaking to a lot of these guys. Mark Roberts had an excellent tournament. This first game he was against Aidan from the Discussing Resilient podcast, and that was a narrow loss. And then he's absolutely gone through and smashed people. He was saying how good the Despoiler Battle Cannon Big Knight is in the Death Guard at the moment, and on the UKTC terrain. And yeah, there was plenty of people that just came up to me at the weekend and just recognized me and said hello. So to everyone there, yeah, thank you for saying hi. Really enjoyed my time with everybody there. Such a just a friendly community to go through. Congratulations on Josh on the win. And yeah, that was Leeds for me. Happy with the placing for of 23rd. That has put my final rankings with the UKTC currently up to, I think it is the 4th best Death Guard in the UK now that I've got 4 rankings up, which I'm quite happy about. Not able to go to too many events in a year, so finally getting the 4 in. I'm now sitting at number 4. It's going to be tough to catch up with Nathan and Aidan for sure. They've obviously smashing it at the moment. So, but yeah, we're sitting in a nice place. Hopefully, maybe going to LGT this year to try and get a big result in there if we can. See how the Death Guard are at that point. But it is the only army that I do play, so I'll be taking that regardless. Whether we have to change up the list a little bit. But yeah, it's good. I feel that the list did what I needed it to do. Not really had any thoughts on how I would change it yet, but that's going to be something that I'll potentially go through in another video in the future. Maybe once the UKTC feedback has gone in about the terrain layouts. I know a lot of people at the event on the lunchtime of the Sunday were saying that they weren't a big fan of the Dawn of War deployment and the terrain layout for that. So maybe that will change going into LGT. Yeah, I thought in general it was okay. There was definitely situations where I could see where certain things were doing really well because of the line of sight that were able to be drawn everywhere. But in terms of how I was able to apply my list to those terrains, I was pretty happy with how everything went. So yeah, in terms of the plans for the channel, then I'm gonna try and get the back reps out for each of those games in a bit more detail. As I've done before on the channel, I'm gonna hopefully try and recreate in on TTS. It obviously won't be a 3-hour game. I'm just going to do a rough sort of placement of things and go over the key moments. And I did, as I mentioned, have a few videos to go through, sort of like explain the in person thinking of what was going on. But yeah, thanks to everybody for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you are enjoying the content, and watch out for the bat reps. They're coming out soon. But yeah, thanks everybody.